Hi, I'm Gee Charman and welcome back to my series of dinner delights. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to make some delicious pea and mint blinis topped with smoked salmon and then a bit of a jazzed up creme fraiche to go with it. So I'm now going to make up my blini batter, which is basically a pancake batter. But first of all, the peas to go with it. These are just frozen peas that I've just boiled for about 3 minutes in boiling salted water and then left them to cool. So I'm just going to blend those up a little bit and throw them all over the place. It doesn't matter if it's perfectly smooth or not, just chopped up is fine. And then I'm going to make my batter up in this. So I've got plain flour that's going in, and then 2 rising agents, baking powder and bicarbonate of soda. Bicarbonate of soda is a bit stronger, but if you put too much in, you get that real soda-y taste. You probably tried it, but it's not particularly nice. So you just want to balance it out with a bit of baking powder, which will give everything a bit of extra oomph and rise, but doesn't have the flavour. And then pea and mint go together, so a few mint leaves. All the ingredients for this recipe can be found in the description box. So now 2 eggs. Now eggs help little blinis and pancakes to rise, so that's why I'm using 2. And then I'm going to start to blend this, and then just add enough milk to make a really smooth batter. But you want it quite thick so that you get those little tiny blinis and they don't run all over the pan. So I'll put this on and then add my milk. And that seems about right. You don't want to overmix it and blend it because the gluten in the flour will stretch and you'll get little rubbery pancakes rather than those beautiful fluffy light ones. So that's about right. And now to make this really easy for when I pour them into the pan, I'm just going to decant this mixture into a jug. This blini mix is perfect 2 ways. You can make tiny little ones, which are great for little canapes, or if you're having a garden party, they are perfect. Or if you make slightly bigger ones, you can have them as a perfect starter. So I've got my blini mix all ready to go. So I'm just going to get a frying pan on the heat. Now, because of the beautiful green colour that this batter has got, you don't want to get your pan too hot. It does mean they'll take a little bit longer to cook than traditional blinis, but it does also mean that you'll get that vibrant green colour. If it's too hot a pan, they'll go that dark, sludgy brown colour and look like something you've dragged out of a swamp rather than a beautiful spring-like blini. So I'll let that get warm and then add a little bit of vegetable oil, or any flavourless oil's fine, and then I just wipe the excess out of the pan. You don't want them to sort of fry and sizzle in oil. You just want to help it as a non-stick. But keep this, because between each batch you can then just rub the pan again and you're done. So my pan is sort of medium heat, and then I'm just going to start spooning and pouring some of the batter into it. I'm going to do little canapé size. So I'm just going to cook these gently, and you'll start to see them cook around the edge, and that's when you can just flip them over and cook them on the other side. So I'm now just going to start to turn these over. I don't know whether you can see it, but they've just started to set around the edge. So using a palette knife, it's a bit of a quick and flip game, and you just turn them over like that. So now that they're sort of firm and their shape is set, you can move them over, and on this side of the pan start the next batch, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So now my sort of second batch of blinis is done. I'm just going to give these a quick press, and they feel firm and spongy and light rather than sort of like you're prodding a waterbed and it's a bit wobbly underneath. So these can come out. I'm just serving these on a slate tile, which is perfect for canapes. But if you make big ones, just about probably 2 to a plate for a starter. And just while those are cooling and these are cooking, I'm going to make a delicious creme fraiche. So to jazz this one up, I'm going to make a lovely dill and lemon zest creme fraiche. So I've got a bit of fresh dill here that I'm just going to chop up and then run that through your creme fraiche. with a bit of lemon zest. Lemon and salmon go so well together, and instead of drowning the blinis in lemon juice, just the oil from the lemon zest just makes this creme fraiche beautiful. So because it's now a savoury creme fraiche rather than a sweet, it needs our old friends salt and pepper. Everything should be seasoned. It just transforms dishes. Now, if you like this recipe and want to see more, why not click on the subscribe button? Now my creme fraiche is done and my other blinis are cooked. They can come out too. And then I've just got shop-bought smoked salmon that's already pre-cut into beautiful thin slices. Now you can do this in one of two ways. If I'm being really lazy, I just sort of scrunch up a bit, curl it up and plop it on the top. Or you can finely shred it if you're doing sort of very delicate, ladylike mouthfuls and you don't want big blocks of smoked salmon. You can just shred it up and put little bits of shredded smoked salmon on the top. And then you have a choice. You can either pop creme fraiche on the top or you can put it on the bottom. It's completely up to you. I quite like it on the top. So now they've got a delicious heap full of smoked salmon on each one. I'm just going to add a dollop of your creme fraiche. And this is where you need little pixie fingers, where you can pick off little fronds of dill. If you can't be bothered, just chop it and sprinkle over the top. And there you have it, really simple pea and mint blinis topped with smoked salmon and a delicious lemon and dill creme fraiche. Now, this is my best impression of Miss Piggy. Look away now. I'm going to eat one, and there's only one way to do it. And as the advert says, full moon, not half moon. They are delicious, and I didn't eat them very elegantly, but the saltiness of the smoked salmon, that little hint of lemon and dill in the creme fraiche, and these pillow-like blinis with the sweetness of the pea, it just works perfectly. I really hope you can join me for my next episode in my series of dinner delights.